I mean, look, just like when he border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
I'm here in Guatemala today. At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I don't understand the point that you're making.
She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail. Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out.
You can't tell me that the immigration situation in this country is working just fine.
Here's your opportunity to speak directly to the president and to the folks at the White House. Cameras are yours. What are you going to tell the president?
Mr. President, we need your help. With all due respect, the perception here, what I've seen in talking to other law enforcement leaders in my precious state of Texas, is the perception is that there's been a complete absence from Washington, D.C. That's why I mentioned being angry at the president in my letter. You know, I'm angry. I was angry when I wrote it. I'm still angry today. So pardon me if during talking to you, I get a little more angry because it makes me bristle with anger.
Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico.
Say it ain't so, say it ain't so. I guess some people really be forgetting that the internet is no different from a blood stain. That is something very hard to get off. It will remain and remain. You could delete it. Somebody probably already uploaded it. With that being said, the Democratic Party, they are really trying to swindle y'all. The Democratic Party is hard at work trying to cause the Mandela effect. This Bexar County Sheriff right here is at the DNC praising Kamala. People must have forgot because people don't really pay attention. You have too much entertainment, too much sports, a whole lot of nothing happening that is always making you forget. The older I get, I start to realize that the purpose of the news is to make you forget, never to make you remember. Only remember what they want you to remember, but the main objective is to make you forget because your brain goes on overload. You understand? Too much information, old information gets wiped out, right? I say that to say this. This sheriff was caught in the past, right? Talking negative about the Biden administration. As a matter of fact, as far as I know, when it comes to the border, in his interview, he was definitely bringing down the Biden administration, right? He was not feeling it. And what he's saying right now, it doesn't match or add up to what he was saying before. Right now, he's speaking very highly. He's saying that Kamala is strong at fighting the border and we need her to remain there, all right? But in his past post or his past interview, he was calling out for help. He was crying for help. You understand? Why don't we just sit back and react? Let me show you.
On the other side of the border, the traffickers, they pack migrants into 18-wheelers like cattle, 50, 100 at a time. Then they seal the doors. That's when the 911 calls come. We hear them, desperate, terrified, gasping for air. Now, sometimes we get there in time. Sometimes, despite our best efforts, we can't. When Donald Trump comes down to Texas, stands next to officers in uniforms just like mine, he's not there to help us. Don't think that, not for a second. He is a self-serving man.
I wonder how long he trained to practice right there. He is a self-serving man. Hey, y'all let me know if I'm tripping right there, but that seemed a little choreographed, no?
I mean, look, just like when he the border bill, he just made our jobs harder. Now, Kamala, on the other hand,
and you all helped us win in 2020, and we're going to do it again in 2024.
Has been fighting border crime for years. She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers. And when the traffickers didn't stop, she put them in jail.
Oh, really?
Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out. I may be paraphrasing a bit. We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right?
I can't get caught up with the semantics, all right? Don't get caught up with that right now. That is all a smokescreen, all right?
And we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion. And we fight like hell to protect our border. Because as we've always known in Texas, cuando luchamos, ganamos. When we fight, we win.
Now, one of y'all go in the comments and put me on to some game. Where did this phrase come from? When we fight, we win. In a fight, you're gonna have a winner and a loser, but I don't know what that when we fight, we win. I don't really know what that means right there. That's just a whole bunch of nothing. When we fight, we win. Alright. Y'all wanna fight? Y'all trying to win. Where the policies at though, you understand? Now look. Remember everything he just said right now. Remember everything he just said, word for word, right? I'm gonna bring it back a little bit, and then we're gonna go to the next clip.
Border bill. He just made our jobs harder. Now Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years.
For years, you hear that?
Thank you all very much.
She's gone down to Mexico and worked to stop the traffickers.
Hey. Hope she ain't dropped that chalupa, you understand what I'm saying? I hope she ain't dropped that chalupa, baby.
Traffickers didn't stop.
What'd she do?
She put him in jail.
Oh, yeah.
Now, down in my neck of the woods, we call that fooling around and finding out.
Oh, really? Or do you mean around and find out? Which one do you mean?
I may be paraphrasing a bit.
Maybe.
We protect them. Now, the border sheriffs that I know, right, and we're like Kamala. We protect and serve. We enforce the law. We show compassion.
Okay.
And we fight like hell to protect our border.
Oh, because when you fight, you win. Did I get it right? I got it right. I think I got it right. Go in the comments. Let me know if your boy got it right. Now, check the clip out where the same sheriff is pleading for help.
Involving humans have led one Texas sheriff to plead for more help from the federal government to deal with this humanitarian crisis. Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar sent a letter to President Biden asking to meet with him to address the humanitarian crisis at the southern border. He also criticized Texas Governor Greg Abbott's stance on immigration and human. With us now, Bexar County Sheriff Javier Salazar. Sheriff, it's a pleasure to see you, sir. Tell us about what you are asking for. What are your needs?
I think his needs is just money, if you ask me. He's bored at this point. Why is he sending a letter to the Biden administration, but yet in the most recent speech that he gave, what did he say? That she's been fighting the border crisis for years. And what she does? She locks them up and puts them in jail? Really? That's not what we see out here, especially in New York City. We see nothing but asylum seekers flooding and taking over. There is nowhere for them to go. They're everywhere in the streets. Wherever you turn, you're going to find them.
Well, right now, thank you for having me first off. Right now, what I'm asking for is for the president or a member of his administration that can make decisions to come down and talk to not just me, but at least 12 other Texas sheriffs from major counties in the state of Texas that are dealing with this issue firsthand. So I'd like to see somebody from Washington come down here, get boots on the ground, get eyes on the issue at hand, and then talk to us, a bipartisan group of Texas sheriffs that are really taking a common sense approach because we have to on this.
So when you say you're taking a common sense approach and that you're not having federal assistance, what is that approach that you're taking and what is it that you need?
Well, we'd like to come up with something that makes sense. At present, and I hate to have to say this, at present, we've got a governor that's using this as a campaign stunt. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's a whole lot of money being poured into the border just for the point of just for the stance of making a point to America. Right? They're putting these people into state prisons, creating a backlog in the jail system that affects Texas sheriffs, but also like busing these folks to Washington, D.C. and then dropping them at the figurative doorstep of the president. You're just doing that to make a point, and you're wasting resources in the process. Why don't you talk to some law enforcement officers that are handling this, and let us see if we can together come up with a basic, no-nonsense approach to this situation that needs to be handled. You can't tell me that the immigration situation in this country is working just fine.
You heard it from his mouth, right? You can't say that it's working just fine, but yet Kamala's been doing her thing for years, right? Okay.
So, Sheriff, you've written 3, I understand, letters to the White House. Here's your opportunity to speak directly to the president and to the folks at the White House. Cameras are yours. What are you going to tell the president?
Mr. President, we need your help. With all due respect, the perception here, what I've seen in talking to other law enforcement leaders in my precious state of Texas, is the perception is that there's been a complete absence from Washington, D.C.
Now, Kamala, on the other hand, has been fighting border crime for years.
Now, I know that you've got a whole world to protect and serve. However, here down in Texas, we need your help. We need you.
Why is it that people think that the United States president has to oversee the world? I never understood that. Do you understand that they are called world leaders, which means is these places have their own leaders? There's no such thing as the United States president controlling the world. Let's be serious.
Here to talk to us and see if we can be part of the solution. Right now, what we're doing is we're allowing the state government to control that narrative, and maybe they're trying their best. I don't know. But at this point, the results that we're seeing are just not satisfactory. Clearly, we're dealing with over 50 people dead. That means the approach isn't working. And so we need the president's help to come down here and talk to Texas law enforcement, and let's see if we can't figure something out.
And you notice he hasn't mentioned Kamala's name or Kamala's name not once, right? He's reaching out to the president, which means she's nowhere to be found. That's what I'm getting off this. I mean, you let me know if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. What's your opinion on that?
And Sheriff, there are groups of people, there are organizations in Mexico, in Central America, in South America, throughout the world, and here in the United States that are making muchísimo dinero, millions of dollars, exploiting people who have an American dream and are willing to risk it all to come to this country. How do you deal with something like that? Millions and millions and millions of dollars in cash every day exploiting humans in our own country, Sheriff?
Absolutely. And that's why I mentioned being angry at the president in my letter. I'm angry. I was angry when I wrote it. I'm still angry today. So pardon me if during talking to you, I get a little more angry, because it makes me bristle with anger that 50 people died in my community and I couldn't do anything to stop it. It's frustrating. I hate the fact that these poor folks, the vast majority of them, right? I'm not going to say all of them. The vast majority of them are just coming here looking for a better life because they have no prospects in their home country. And right now they're in a situation where they're more afraid of me, who I mean them no harm. They're more afraid of me than they are the cartels that are charging them $10,000, cramming them into an 18-wheeler like cattle. And then maybe they make to their location, maybe they don't, but the cartels already got their money at that point. We've got to flip that narrative somehow. Make them be able to, maybe there's a way we can create a process where they come into the country legally. Let's create a front door that they can come through legally with a process. I'm not saying open the borders and just let anybody in that wants to come in. I'm saying create that process where they come in the front door, they get a permit to work. We tax their income. They're paid a living wage. Look, Friday night, you go to dinner with your family, you're going to wait an hour for a table. You're going to wait 30 minutes for your food because there's nobody back there to cook it, nobody to wait on you.
I'm tired of that right there. I'm tired of them using that as the catalyst. Listen, the country was working just fine not too long ago. I don't understand where all this new rhetoric is coming from. Who's gonna cook your food and all this, that, and the third. Yes, I get it. It's a little bit condescending in a way if you look at it. I mean, you depend on only a certain class of people to always be doing a certain kind of job. No, I believe those kind of jobs are for young people. Those are young people jobs. But unfortunately, a lot of these companies, they know who they can pay a little bit. They know who deserves what. And if they know you're not documented, they know they could jerk you. So unfortunately, maybe we need to do something about that right there. You understand what I'm saying? It shouldn't be that way, but that's how it is. You understand? Everyone is trying to make a bigger profit. All of this boils down to the money. All of this boils down to the money. Let me know if you agree or disagree. Go in the comments, run it up, flood it up. If you like reactions like this, consider hitting that like button. Definitely subscribe to my channel and also hit the notification bell. I'll see you in the next one.